We are live and the market is just open. So it's just 15 minutes that have passed since the market has opened. Let's take a look at the charts here. We are currently looking at the NQ futures, and as you can see, price just swept a liquidity zone here and it's shooting up. I think it's going to be a good upside rally because the sweep seems pretty clean, although the 15 minutes candle has not closed. But on the 3 minutes, the chart looks very clean. I would have taken this trade, but unfortunately, Trade platform is not working. Uh, yeah, that's unfortunate. But anyway, this account is pretty much lost, guys. As you can see on the left side panel, my current equity is very close to my trailing drawdown limit. It's just $81 away. So if if I get this account back to, a tradable state, that would be a miracle. Yeah, it would be a miracle. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But then the only thing that I can do is wait for the perfect setup, then take a trade. I don't feel FOMO. I don't know why. I'm seeing this move, but even though the platform is down, I don't feel FOMO because I know that the SL that I can afford is just $81, and I'm not sure if I could have even afforded that if I taken the trade here or let's say here. So that is the issue. Yeah, I should have thought about it a couple of trades back, but unfortunately, you gotta learn some lessons on the charts in live market. Yeah, so that's the thing. So we'll probably lose his account, but anyway, let's see if we can, I mean, let's see if there is even a chance of a small miracle at least for me to get this account back to 200 or 300 away from drawdown so that I can then trade a reasonably good trade with a decent risk so that if that trade goes well, then we are back. Then we are seriously back. But getting back to that stage where I have $300 at least in my limit towards drawdown is the toughest task. For that, I have to risk just $80 and gain close to 160 or $240 profit. That's like a 1 is to 2 or 1 is to 3 trade that I have to get for me to have any chance in recovering this account. So it's that tough. But then, yeah, what can we do now? That's an important question. The only thing that we can do now is to wait for that perfect setup and don't take trades like I did earlier in my earlier streams where I hope I mean I told in my earlier streams as well that I had to wait for the perfect setup, but I did not. That's the issue. That's the issue. I have to wait, but I'm not waiting. Yeah, here this was a really good setup because if you see on the 15 minutes as well, it was a pretty good sweep. There is high volume suggesting that it's a trap. Yeah, but unfortunately, but here, if you see here as well, it was a good setup. And markets these days, the first setup or the second one, it's not necessary that they continue forward. So it's very important that you take your profits in this particular market. It's not that trending. If you look at the last couple of days, it's been choppy, a bit choppy. So it's very important you take your profit. Sorry. Yeah. So this was a good trade, but unfortunately, trader weight is not working. Yeah. Let me see something else. If I click on this trade button, yeah, you see here, trading with trader weight is not possible at the moment due to the market data not being provided. Please try again later. This is the second time in 2 weeks that trader weight is causing this issue, but last time it was not this issue, it was a different issue, but it's the second time in 2 weeks. And it's quite serious. Like serious traders would be waiting days, waiting for a whole week for their perfect setup to arrive. And when they see their setup on the chart, if this happens, it's actually quite frustrating. Although I'm not complaining about myself, but yeah, I can think about others who are actually getting frustrated at this moment when market's moving and then they're not able to place a trade. Yeah, last time I think it was a global outage or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, TradeAway had an issue last time. Most people were not able to log into their TradeAway accounts. Yeah, here it seems to be reversing again. I am not sure if that's going to sustain though, because the last two candles were heavily bullish. Yeah, but this range is a bit narrow and choppy as well, so it could come back. Anything can happen at this point. Let's see what MES is doing. Yeah, following the same pattern as MES. Yeah, let's wait and see if Trader Wheat is back and if we have any other valid setups. Sometimes it's important just to look at the charts and see what's happening, just observing price. That's where you get most of your pattern recognition and learning from. Yeah, this is the this is the upside liquidity zone that we currently have on the 15-minute chart, and here we have this one on the downside, but this one's just created. So if the trend is a downtrend, it'll just break this area and go down. If it breaks that area, where do we have the next zone? Yeah, it's right here. So yeah, we have it here. We have huge bearish candles on the top. So if price has to reverse, it has to reverse this area with immense strength. Could happen, but probability says that for it to, I mean, I'm just thinking probabilistically, for it to take out this zone, it might have to grab some liquidity from down below to get that strength, but you never know. That's for MES though. Let's look at MNQ. MNQ's liquidity on the 1 hour chart is a bit more down. So this fair value is not, uh, this fair value is the deciding factor here. Is it going to be respected or not? Yeah, I don't trade much based on fair value gaps. Not a big fan of them. But yeah, it works for so many people. But yeah, it's not part of my particular strategy. Also, it might be because I haven't observed fair value gaps for that long for me to, inculcate them in my strategy or my methodology of trading. Yep, this has been the story for quite some time now. Occasional trending days, up, unlike January or unlike December or even October, November, where we had heavily trending days. Now we have a choppy market most of the days. So it is quite interesting, and it's a difficult time for most traders out there. If you're impatient during these times, if you force trades, then you're done, which I think is happening to me, not exercising enough patience to survive in this difficult market. Yep, price price looks like it's consolidating. Let's see what it does. Yeah, if you take a look at my stats here, it's been, look at that net profit or loss, $1,114. Unlike my last account, this was a slow kill. Like I started pretty good. On my first day, made a loss of like 500 or $600. The next day, I got a really good high RR trade. I made close to $1,450 in profits, which meant that I came back to break even and cross break even to be up $800 in my account. But then after that, it has been a slow, slow kill. Been losing and bleeding money every day for the next 3 or 5 days. And the problem that I see there is that I took trades based on my setup, that is true, but then I didn't wait for enough confirmation. That's what happened. And this market was apparently harder than, you know, last couple of months. So that indeed had an impact. So overall, it affected my performance a lot, but I'm not I'm not here to blame the market. It's mostly because I did not realize that the market situation is changing. And on top of that, that is just the secondary reason. The primary reason was that I didn't wait for my perfect setup. I didn't wait because you can observe it from the days that I traded. I didn't even break one day of trading. That means I traded continuously for the last few days until I hit this drawdown level, which meant that that's not the way I trade when I'm trading successfully. For example, in the last eval, I'd gone down to 48, 300 levels of equity, which meant that I only had $300 in the balance. And from that stage, and I have to be honest, the way I got there was because of stupid trades, which I executed impatiently. I forced few trades, but then the way that I got back to break even and more was purely by exhibiting extreme discipline. I took only one trade on most days, and on many days, in between, I did not have a trade. I was waiting for my perfect setups to appear on the chart. But so how it all played out was that from 300 I waited 2 days, I guess. Then on the next day, I took a really good trade that turned out to be around 700 profits, which got me back to 49K. From there on, I didn't trade for a couple another days. Then I made an $80 profit on one day. Then I made a small loss of around 250 or 300. Then another day I win again another $800. And similarly, one more trade was there where I made $400, I guess. So I got that back to 50K and more, a bit more. But then what happened was crazy. I broke one of my rules on another day where I made a small loss, but then I broke a rule which was a huge mistake. So what I did was I traded outside my window. But it was not a drastic mistake because I didn't lose a lot of money or anything. I exited with a very small loss within my risk level. But what happened was because I broke that rule, it bended my structure, or let's say the system made of rules. So I broke another rule the next day. So when you think about it, you would always, want to think individually about that one mistake that you did, that one single trade that you did where you lost it all. But the reason for that, the root cause of that was actually that I broke another rule the previous day, which is to trade outside my window, because of which the next day also I traded outside my window and another rule was broken, which was I took an extreme risk, which was so stupid. I somehow wanted to make back that money because I was feeling it in me that, okay, you you lost the previous day because you traded outside your window. You did a mistake. You have to correct that mistake. You have to get that money back. That was my mindset, and I think that's what resulted in that stupid high risk trade the next day. And I was also traveling. I was fatigued. I didn't know why I took that trade on that day when I was not even properly sitting in front of the charts. I was actually traveling and busy. Yeah. So what happened was that I hit a loss of like 1,400 or something on that single trade. After doing it very patiently in extreme discipline for the 2 weeks prior to that particular day. On that particular day, I lost all of the money that I made. The money that I made to get my account back to break even with blood and sweat was lost in a single trade in a moment of stupid judgment. Yeah, that's like $1,100 or $1,400 that was lost on that particular trade, and then I just broke my account drawdown limits. That resulted in a breach. Yeah, sometimes I'm pretty sure this would have happened to a lot of people. But the funny thing is, or the ironic thing is, you always realize once it's happened, once the thing's done, you always come back to it and think, how did you let it happen? Like you knew everything, you knew this was something that you're trying to avoid, but still, how did you let that happen? And, the, and another thing is that this feeling would only come when the value is a value that you're losing is important to you. For example, if you guys are trading in a paper trading account or a very small balance equity or whatever trading account, you wouldn't feel this. You wouldn't feel this impact because there it's like, okay, the money is not that meaningful to you, so you let it go. You let it drain down the toilet. So, but here the thing is completely different. Here the money is valuable to you. The value is not silly. That's when you actually feel the difference, actually feel the pain, and actually where your, primitive brain, your emotional brain take over, your impulse comes up, and you don't even, you just, your prefrontal cortex just gives up the steering wheel to this guy, this primitive brain, and you don't even realize when it's happening. But after it has happened, you come to reality. What just happened? How did you let it happen? All those thoughts just come in. Yeah, so that's what happened. But I think it's all training. It's all mind hypertrophy, like I would like to call it, as I would like to call it, because you're training your mind to face these things and then learn from it, correct that mistake. And I think I'm pretty good at refining things, so I'm pretty good. I will refine this mistake, but I'm not sure how long it's gonna take. It's gonna be a long journey. But anyway, I mean, even if you're not making money, all these exercises that you do eventually helps in decision making as well, which is great. Yeah, the price seems to be hovering around this area. Doesn't seem to move to either side. So it's interesting. MNQ, it's also doing the same thing. Yeah, so let's wait and watch. Yeah, the view is slightly bullish because as you can see the price is slightly trying to, didn't follow through with the you know sell off, and it's trying to push back up now. So I think although the pushback is weak, might say the broader trend is for price to go back up, which can change any moment if a really good sell order comes in. Yeah. Yep, it's pushing back up. Let's see what happens to it when it takes out this liquidity zone here. That's for MAS. Let's check where it is in on MNQ. Okay, we have it here. But this was created just now, so it might not respect it that much. Interesting to see what the reaction would be there. Since it's anyway weak, the push is weak, so let's wait and watch. I'm not gonna take a trade there because it was created just now, so it's not that strong of a valid sweep zone for me. So I'm not going to take it from there, but we'll just see the reaction to understand what happens. This ability to wait is actually the most difficult thing in trading, and I wish it was easier to master. If no, if we mastered that thing, I would say around 75% of trading is done. 75% of trading is the ability to learn to wait and not do anything. Inaction is the most difficult thing, I personally believe, because that's what's stopping me big time. Stop doing shit, just wait. And today I can easily do it because I know it's just a matter of life or death. Because if I take a stupid trade now, that ends the account for me. So I know the consequences very clearly. That is letting me wait easily. But on another day, when I have enough balance in my account, you get experimental for some weird reason. You get a bit nonchalant or bit aggressive, bit ignorant of the risk that's supposed to limit you. Yeah, that happens occasionally. But yeah, something that all of us who trade has to take care of is essentially waiting for your perfect setup. It's very comparable to poker in that sense. In poker, you wait for your best hand, and if you know about the forgot what it was called in poker. I think it's called a nit. Uh, was it nit? I don't remember clearly. Sorry, I think it's TIT. I don't remember it clearly. Basically, the player when a player plays very tight, that is, they don't bet big. They fold most of their cards. By most, I mean you're supposed to fold most of your cards in poker, but when I say most, I mean like 90%, 95% of the cards. They're called extra tight players. And against beginners, that works out really well because beginners gamble a bit. And these tight players, when they fold most of their hands, they have the best hands being played out. And then there's a high probability for them to win because they're only playing their best hands. And there are no like expert players in the it's just beginners, so they eventually win. There are no experts to exploit that strategy that these type players use. So it's a very valid strategy that works even at an intermediate level to play very tight. So even I'm talking about the same thing in trading. You play your extremely best hands, and then it will work. But for that, you have to avoid the remaining 90-95% of weak hands. For that, you have to sit simply in the markets just waiting for your trade, which is really difficult, which which is sometimes even difficult for professionals. Hmm. So here, as you can see, price created a zone here. It couldn't pull back down, and it's pushing up and it's showing strength. So I think a breakout is coming. But we don't have a trade because we do not have a really good stop loss. It's going to be huge. And also, I mean, trader weight is still not back. Yeah, this rule that I've written here always assumes zero trades. Each trade is an exception. Yeah, that rule, I didn't even hold it up to my least expected standard. I took I took trades expecting a trade every day. So this was not at all held up. This rule was violated. Yeah, that's something that I have to take care of. It's very difficult to come in with this mindset, because whenever you enter, there is always that subconscious pressure to be in that dopamine chase state, which is to be in a trade. Yeah, it's very difficult to get rid of this or to be in the state, which I'm trying to be. But let's see. I'm not a person who gives up that easily, so we'll see. But it requires a lot of patience. Yeah, it's just choppy today, and it's just consolidating left, right, and center. Cool. Then I think that's it for today because our time is still 9:30, and since the market is consolidating today, I don't think there is going to be any opportunity that's going to come up for us. It mostly looks like it's going to be a breakout to one of these sides, and I'm not going to take a trade on this liquidity, neither this. I mean, neither this. So I don't think price is going to move that much to these liquidity zones until 9:30. But if I take a trade, I'll give you an update on that in my next stream. But yeah, basically, by update, I mean an update to myself because I know there are not so many viewers for my stream. So I mean, of course, this is just my trading journal. This is where I am going to track the trades that I take, the emotions that I go through, my journey. So this is for myself. So here, yeah, I will be documenting whatever is going to happen later outside my streaming hours. Yeah, that's it for today.